If you tell me you've got a desire, I'm all in. Do you want to grow?
Absolutely.
Take notes and make sure it improves your business. Everybody wants to grow. You deserve to grow.
You don't pitch to investors to try your luck. You pitch to investors to win.
If it's not challenging, I don't think it's worth it.
The right advice to give in business is validate the idea first.
Most of you out there who want to grow, your issue is just starting, isn't it?
It's important that people just follow what they want to do.
It's an opportunity of a lifetime for all of us.
The podcast is not about them growing, it's about them helping others grow. Hello and welcome to I Want to Grow. I Want to Grow is just about that. It's a podcast where we get people to come on the show and tell us about how they're growing, but more importantly, how they're helping others to grow. Nauman, thank you so much for coming on the show. You're an amazing guy and you're doing so much within the ecosystem here in Qatar. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you very much, Steve, for having me, and I think you've been very kind to have a good words about me. So my name is Nauman Gul. I am the co-founder and the CEO of Twyla Technology, one of the leading digital transformation company in Qatar. We are a Qatari company, homegrown business, and today we're going to talk about how we have gone through this journey.
You've probably, the way that I look at this is you're probably one of Qatar's best kept secrets. You've grown this from the very bottom and you've built something incredible. Just tell us a bit about those kind of things that you've grown with.
So Steve, for me, I've been always fascinated about the technology and digital transformation journey. And this is what I've learned in my last 23 years of work experience, being with the other multinationals in this business and being in Qatar as well. I'm a resident of Qatar for last 30 years.
30 years? You don't look old enough.
So I've seen Qatar gone through the transformation journey itself in every sector, and so do the technology as well. And I just put my share in it.
Well, how did your journey begin? Because you are quite successful now. How did your journey begin here in Qatar?
As a Twyla Technology, when we started our business back in 2019, and this is where myself and my co-founder, Sheikh Mashal bin Hamd bin Suhaim Al Thani, we shared a common goal that we want to be a leading digital transformation company in Qatar when it comes to the healthcare, when it comes to the AI-based video analytics and fintechs, in fintech domain, as well as in the e-commerce. So these are the four areas we identified, and we say how we're gonna address these four different market segments.
What was it like in the beginning?
In the beginning, everything is on the paper and in the mind, and I think the key is how you transform your dreams into an implementation plan and then the tactical plan as well. And you make mistakes in the middle on the way in the journey. That's normal. So we also made mistakes, but we rectified and we move forward. So out of the four sectors, two segments were more smooth. There were a few where we had some hiccups. We have to fix things and then go back again. But now all the four business lines are live and it's working fine.
Some people would have said that you were a little bit crazy taking on four lines. Would you agree?
You're not the first one to say that. I would say, because all the four segments are quite diverse, and the good thing is all these four segments are also the growth areas for Qatar as well, as per the when you talk about the Vision 2030 and the different roadmaps they have for the digital transformation and technology insertion into the market. So I think the best way to do this, and there are certain things you need to do it from the scratch, and there are few areas that I always been a believer in partnerships and collaboration, and IT segment is always open to where you can find right partners, you find collaboration, and you come up with a different technology, or sometimes a merger of technology come up with a different use case, for example, and this is something we did as well. If you talk about the Fintech, for example, we started the business from the scratch. We started building the platform from scratch. When it comes to the healthcare, we partner with some leading companies in the market. We had an understanding that we will use their core technology to develop a specific use case for Qatar. So we did our value addition, and we bring in some expertise on the back. So this way, your go-to market and your risk on rolling out a specific business use case reduces when you have the right partner and the back office team sitting who is coming from that specific industry as well. So we had a flavor of both, something building from the scratch, something building unique for Qatar with partnerships.
And it's really important, but I'm going to go back a little bit, because 40% of businesses, startups, fail because of that, not seeing there's a need in the marketplace. They don't really evaluate at the very beginning whether people will want your services. Was that a difficult time for you to evaluate whether what you were doing in those 4 areas, whether there was a need for it here in Qatar?
So the need was, we didn't have a problem in identifying the need, because the need was coming from the country itself. One country defines a priority when it comes to the healthcare. So that means there's certain innovation has to happen in that area, and healthcare is quite a large domain, and we only take care of the electronic medical hospital information system and the telemedicine part of it. When it comes to Fintech, Qatar Central Bank announced they're going to have the Fintech regulation and the strategy. So we know there is a room for us to play, and Fintech again is a large area, and you have different specific domains to work in that area. So we start building our tech in that. Now, building a tech, announcing a strategy is one part. Going to the market, convincing people that now this is the new norm, this is how this new technology can help you improve your business, that's a different ballgame altogether. There is always resistance, changing to a new system, changing the way the business is done. This is more time consuming because you need to do a lot of education and motivation to your customers to bring this change and adopt these new changes in their organization.
You said one word, resistance. How difficult is that word in this everything that you've been doing?
When you talk about resistance in a business, that means a lot of time, effort, and money behind that. When you have something unique, and you have a strategy on the country level to go into it, but you do not have an enforcement to do that, that means it's really up to the customer to adopt or not to adopt. If people are doing business in cash, if I come and tell you, no, from tomorrow let's do a digital one, you will think twice, why should I do it? So there are certain people who want to adopt digital, but not everybody, for example. Yeah. So unless you have some policies supporting these initiatives, it's difficult for private sector to go and push these kind of technologies as well. And I can tell you, 70% of the time you don't succeed. You have only 30% success rate when you are trying to bring a change into a market. And that's what a startup is all about.
What was it like finding your partner that you're working with now? What was it like? Did it come easily, or did you have to trial and error?
No. So as I've told you, I've been in Qatar for quite long. I've been working with different business entities in Qatar. So I think it's more about the network and the people who knows who. So it was not a very formal finding effort. It was more of a networking relationship that get me through this.
And it's like respect. If there's that respect and you're finding somebody that has the same interests as you, then magic happens, right?
Yes. So when you go into a partnership, people like to do a due diligence on you because you are bringing an idea and you are bringing something new to a table. So people like to see who is Nauman, what he has been doing earlier. So your commitment, your reputation as an entrepreneur is also important. And most of the time, investors they like to see who is driving the business and what's the vision and what's the driving factor for the entrepreneur to do that business. I think you need to be convinced about your ideas when you pitch to an investor, because the investor is looking at you first, and then he will if he believes in you, he will believe in what you're saying as well.
I do look. We've talked about this before, and I didn't meet you when I started learning about your reputation. And the reputation that I learned from was your employees. I remember going to your office, not with you, with one of your employees, and they made you, this guy is amazing. You'll be lucky if you get a meeting with this guy. He's just so inspiring. He's working on so many different projects. Your staff speaks so highly of you. How difficult is it to build a big team like you've got now?
Steve, for me, I think rather than building a big team, it's more important that you have a skillful and motivated team. And I believe in a smaller, motivated and skillful team can do much better than if you have a very big and unmotivated team. So I always believe in the people that I work with, because at the end of the day, we are in a services industry in the IT. So my asset is my team. I'm not selling any hardware or any stocks in the market. So I'm selling the skills and the solutions which are built by my team, and I really admire them for the work they do.
Yeah, but they've got that you either two ways for respect. Okay, one is command it, and the other way is earn it. And I think that's what I love about what you've done, because you have definitely earned that respect. And to start 4 projects at the same time and be able to bring those through to fruition. Tell us about your projects right now. Tell us about those startups that you've got now.
Yeah, so before that, Steve, I want to go back why I work closely with my team, because in my earlier career, I was lucky to have my managers and my boss, and the working environment I was working in was more of a teamwork, and it was more of a leadership, and we used to work together. We do not differentiate. He's a boss, if I have to go and approach him formally. So I was really lucky to have a very conducive working environment, which really absorbed me and impressed me. And then I'm trying to follow that. So I think it's saying leader builds leader. So I think it's the same process, and I follow the same in my organization. I feel happy if somebody gets promoted and gets hired by other multinational companies and other government organizations. We have people working in our organization and getting a better opportunities elsewhere, and it's really amazing. I feel good about it.
To listen to you saying those type of things, it's like I would be kind of disappointed if they weren't staying with us. It kind of that, but you're totally the opposite. You're saying, no, I embrace it. If they can go to a bigger company and they've stepped up 5 or 6 levels, then you take pleasure in that. It's like you don't see it as, oh no, I've just missed.
Yeah, Steve, the thing is, you cannot hold anybody. I mean, we are working in a free world, and if somebody is working together with you and if he's leaving, it does not mean that he hates you. I mean, he feels a career development elsewhere. I feel good about it that I'm able to contribute as an organization, as a person, to his career, which he or she will carry forward. And I have colleagues who have been in different organizations. We are in touch, and we always enjoy the good memories. So yeah, I feel this is how I feel. I mean, I don't know why I feel, but this is how I feel about my team.
Once you get that, then those people that go off in different organizations could all of a sudden become your clients.
Yes, some of them they do, and some of them we work with them. Some of them we don't, but we still have a good relationship with each other. Yeah.
24-hour shifts. Have you done those?
Pardon me?
Have you done 24-hour shifts with your developers and all those type of stuff?
Yes, in the beginning, yes. It works, and sometimes you have heated discussions, but that's part of the job. That's part of the journey.
I remember the 24-hour shifts. There was nothing I could do from a development perspective, but it was just the fact that you were there. You were sitting next to them, and you said, "If you're going to be here, so am I."
It's very important because I would say it's. The idea comes, for example, from my side, and then I get that buy-in from the team. If I'm not there with them, what's their motivation? So I need to be there with them to show my commitment that we need to make it work, and they need to they own it. Once your team owns the project or the task they're given, and I can tell you they can achieve a lot more what you expect from them.
So we're looking back at your time. We're looking back at your time that you've had this startup from 2019. Looking back at those, and you think to yourself, because when you do those memory recalls, you're thinking about all those tough times to know where you are today. 4 big I won't say big companies, but 4 great companies that you're working with now, and you've managed to create. What were those things that you remember back in that growth period to kind of look at it and say, yeah, you know what, I got resilience. I kind of, those are the big things that I learned.
So Steve, the good times everybody cherish about it. The challenging part is the challenging times are the ones when the team is down, you are down, and you said, look, I've built something, and then it does not fit the market, or it does not meet the timeline, or it does not fit the regulation or specific policies, and you need to redo it again. These are the times, or when you don't meet the deadline, for example. These are the times when you need to keep the pressure on the team. At the same time, you need to motivate them, because if you only keep a pressure, it doesn't work. So I think these are and we have a lot of moments like this and especially when you're building something new, you will make mistakes. You cannot say to your team, it's your mistake. It's all of our mistakes. I mean, I make mistakes. I'm a human being as well. We try to analyze the things to the best, but I think you will never have 100%. You will always have a risk. Yeah, you will never have 100% transparency that everything is perfect and when you build something, it's going to work. And I think the challenging times are when you build something and it doesn't work, and you need to redo it. Yeah, so it costs your time, effort, and the money, and you have to you have to keep your team motivated, and you need to keep your shareholders motivated, and you need to sell the story on both sides. Yeah, at the end of the day, you also want this to succeed as well. So as an entrepreneur, you will get pressure from both sides, from the shareholder side and on your team side as well, and you need to manage both. And I think sometimes this pressure is very extreme. But I think I try to manage this by doing a regular exercise. Take your pressure out, and I think this is also important to keep yourself healthy.
I was just going to say, who is that person? Who's the person that you run to? Your team runs to you, but who do you run to?
I try to find peace when I go home with the family and do some regular exercise. You need to have some physical activity that helps you take your pressure out, and I think that has been my escape during the pressure time, to regain your time and your thoughts and go back. Be yourself. If I'm not motivated, I won't be able to motivate my team. I won't be able to motivate my my shareholders. So first of all, I need to work on myself, and then go back to the team and the shareholders.
How do you really push yourself? How do you kind of look at these areas and problems that you have, and sometimes they're out of your boundary? How do you overcome them?
Steve, for me, going out of that environment, going into a little bit more peaceful environment gives you a different perspective, because your mind is busy, and if you're building too many things at the same time, you get involved into operation and you get sucked into a lot of details. To come out of this problem, you need to come out of that for a shorter break and then rethink about it and go back and to the team and have a different perspective. Sometimes, having a different perspective is important to move to the next step, because otherwise you're in a specific circle, and everybody, you need to give them a guidance. You need to show them what's the next view. To do that, you need to be out of that to think fresh, to think clear.
Yeah.
So taking a break is important. Even if you're having a tough time, you must take a short break. It will give you a boost and also give you fresh ideas how to come up with the different.
But okay, so we spoke about all these things. Let's talk about some of your startups that you've been working on, and let's start with your favorites first, and why they were your favorites.
Yeah, so we are into, as I've mentioned, we are into fintech. So fintech is one of my favorites at the moment, and I think if I look at, I give more time to the fintech compared to the other four platforms, but they are equally important. But I think it's also has to do with the country on which domain the country is moving in a faster pace. I think fintech is moving on a faster pace. We have been in the fintech. We've been part of Qatar Fintech Hub from Qatar Development Bank, and they have been very supportive in this journey with us. And then we've got the license earlier this year for the fintech,
which is fantastic, right?
So it was So we were lucky to be part of the first 6 companies who got the fintech license in Feb this year, and this is one of the major achievement, which has a journey of 3 years behind that. It was a long process, was not easy, but it has its own value. So fintech is one. Then we have a healthcare, where we are basically taking care of the complete healthcare information system workflow for primary healthcare sector mainly, and we also have solutions for the polyclinics and the hospitals as well. We have been successful to have one government account for the healthcare platform, and we have a good number of about 300,000 medical records are running on our system, and we are the only one who offer this in Qatar as a cloud service. Not from now, for last 2.5 years.
That's incredible, absolutely incredible, unbelievable. But we're going to carry on with this, but. I love everything that what you've done and represented, but that's incredible.
Yes, so Steve, so as I said, it's a teamwork. It's for healthcare, we have a good partner, and we have a good team who have come up with a specific solution for Qatar. And not to forget, we also do an AI-based video analytics for security applications, which includes your car number plate recognition system, face recognition, and so on. We were successful last year to complete the large-scale project for the government entity for about 200 sites in Qatar, just to read the number plates. Then we talk about a union of 2 different services that we offer. So we are trying to build a new use case when we are able to read the number plate of the cars, and we have fintech solution for digital. So why don't we combine them together and come up with a different use case? So our team is now building a very unique solution that we will announce very soon, maybe probably towards the end of the year, to have a unique use case which will save a lot for the commuters. And when it comes to so it's belong to a transportation segment, which will help drivers and the commuters to ease their journey.
Whoa, and the fourth, what's the?
The fourth one is the e-commerce platform. We have built that platform with the support of Qatar Science and Technology Park. It's an AI-based platform for e-commerce. It's a one-stop shop. Basically, we found that there's not a single e-commerce portal or a platform in Qatar where people can go and shop. There are specialty websites, but not something which you can replicate this as an Amazon. So even myself, I've been shopping through Amazon and then wait for the parcel to come in. And then once we launched this platform, we figure out most of the things that people buy from online, from Amazon, they're available in Qatar, but they just do not have the online visibility. So we have built this platform. We have about over 1 million items which are already available online. Major brands are available online. You can go do a shopping from your electronic goods to mobiles to perfumes to apparel. There are a lot of inventory available online, and we deliver within. So we are not into the food and the grocery business, but we do everything else. And our typical delivery is 24 to 48 hours.
No way. A lot of people are going to look up and I think what you've done is incredible, to be quite honest with you. You've got the fintech, you've got the healthcare, you've got the security, and you've got the e-commerce.
Yeah.
All in one go. And you've got a million products online. How did you find time to be able to launch these over these last few years? And it is 4 years, right? How did you manage all this?
And if I tell you, we have built all of these 4 platforms with the team of only 15 people, you will be even more surprised.
Unbelievable.
15 people.
And a lot of people are going to say, who is this guy? It's like, and everybody says, oh, the state of the how things are in Qatar it's buoyant with people like you, and there's so many other people out there. This is a bright space right now in Qatar, and you're on the tip of everybody's tongue with what you've done. People must be looking at you and going, where did they come from?
It's been quite a journey. And I still see there are challenges in these areas, but at least from the platform perspective, all the 4 platforms are ready, mature, and we are doing business in all the 4 platforms now. Some of them are already recognized by the government. For example, on the fintech, it's recognized by the government, and we are running under as a regulated entity. AI video security application, we have again done a government project in Qatar. Healthcare, having I guess no private entity in Qatar is having 300,000 medical records, which is about 15% of the total population running on the cloud. And all our services are offered on the cloud. We are not on-prem solution. We are offering all these solutions on the cloud. And we are happy to be a partner of Microsoft, who has extended their support to offer these services in the market. So I think cloud infrastructure makes things easier, and you when it comes to the resource side of it, because that brings a lot of power to the platform business as well. Then we have a good development team, but we hire a team who are coming from the specific domain that helps you to bring this business and your business model and the platform on a very short span of time into the business. But the key is to get the customers. Building something is one part of it. That's time and effort and cost. Then you need to start selling this. So I think we are able to achieve a good business in all the 4 platforms, and I think we are also looking to grow exponentially in next 2-3 years.
It's unbelievable what you're going to do. But like with this thing, did people think you were crazy doing 4 at the same time?
Yes.
They must.
Because they're all 4 different. They're completely different. I mean, I cannot replicate what I'm doing in security into an e-commerce, what I'm doing in e-commerce into a fintech. They're completely different. And I think this is only possible when you have SWAT teams working on these 4 different initiatives individually. And I have always have a problem between one meeting to another meeting. I have to switch now from e-commerce to the security. But since I love these, I mean, and all the 4 domains are very close to my heart, and I like to bring more innovation in these all platforms. So it's challenging, but I love it.
You said that they're starting to feed one another. So all of a sudden you're having the security
Cross-selling.
camp. And you're being able to put these elements together now. So that gives you another opportunity.
Yeah. So when you build something different, there's always a crossover, and you need to find that crossover point and see if there is a gap that you fill in a market by doing that. And this is what we have found in one or two use cases, and for which we are now doing our development.
But and again, I'm going to go back a little. People must have said that you're just not going to do this. This is not possible. You're kind of, how are you going to do all four of these? And did people not take you serious, or did people kind of pick up on different areas? And
yes, certain people think I'm the fintech guy. Those who knows me from that industry, when I go to the healthcare, so sometimes people get confused. He's doing all the things. So is he doing all in the right direction? Which is a kind of a challenge from the business image perspective. But for me, we are building something unique and new. And yes, we have our own uniqueness. We are bringing our own proposition to the market. And I think people will adopt slowly that Twyla Technology is able to offer all the four at the same time.
do you ever realize how big a responsibility you've got with showing other people what you've done and how you've gone forward?
I never thought about that. But yes, bringing this value to the market. I always have also a challenge with the shareholders sometimes as well, because sometimes one platform and two platform is doing well, another one is not. So it's not only the building, it's also balancing the business and have a sustainable business growth across the three business lines, basically.
And what came first? Did you have investment first, or did you bootstrap in the very beginning? So
we started bootstrap, and we haven't done any external investment so far. However, what we have done is, for the fintech and for the e-commerce, we have formed a separate entities out of it, and now we are looking for a growth. So this is the time now we are looking for potential investors to come in, and we have a clear path for these businesses. We are looking not only in Qatar, we are looking in the region as well, and we are happy to be part of the export program of Qatar Development Bank. So they also believe that the platform that we have built is of unique value for export as well out of Qatar. So we really look forward to be contributing to the export strategy of Qatar and bringing exports revenue to Qatar.
With the shareholders, okay, they're the ones that believe in your dream too, right? They're the ones, they look at the figures and they say, have you got the capabilities of coming up with all the stuff that you're saying? They must be pretty happy right now.
Yes, I would say we have been together for 4 years now. I think in this 4 year, 2 years were the COVID ones, which was a little challenging, but at the same time it gave us. I was able to communicate and convince that this is the time, if you're not doing more of a business, so we can spend time and our resources in building something unique rather than just sitting quiet and waiting for market change. So I think on one side of it, COVID helped us to speed up our development because more focus was in-house rather than selling it outside.
How important was that relationship, and what are the key points that you have to consider when you're dealing with shareholders?
So shareholder does not only bring investment on the table. I mean, it's important that your shareholders also share the vision and the business growth strategy with you. The way you approach, you might have a different opinion. That's normal. But the most important is they believe in the business, they believe in you, and they believe in the vision. And if you have these three things in place, other topics can be managed and it can be worked on. And I think this, to have a long-term relationship, your investor must have trust in you that you are doing the right thing.
And I suppose that the one of the key, transparency. is the key one to just make sure that you keep them up to date, good news and bad.
Yes, definitely. I mean, I don't mind sharing bad news and good news as well. We have regular meetings, monthly, quarterly, with our shareholders, and this is where we discuss all the challenges and the good stories as well.
And this is the one thing that I do hate, by the way, and I do hate this when somebody brings this up. Qatar's such a small place. It's only got 3 million people. Why? What makes you want to do all of this in Qatar? It's such a small place. I hear this being said by lots of people. What do you say to that?
I mean, I can ask the same thing with my friends in Switzerland or in Singapore as well. They are also small countries, and so why not Qatar? And one of the things is because majority of my life I've stayed in Qatar. As I said, I've been in Qatar for 30 years, so I consider Qatar as my home, and I've seen Qatar growing. So I feel that we need to build something in Qatar. The Qatar should also be known not only for oil and gas, but why not for technology? Why not in Fintech? Why not in other in IT domain? So I like to put my effort and my part in that vision of hydrocarbon growth and export program of Qatar. We should play a part, and we should be there, that Qatar is also able to offer this to the market, all in other countries as well.
You are so correct. We went to Armenia, Azerbaijan, we went to Turkey, we went to Saudi Arabia, and isn't it strange how we both like saying that Qatar is my home? And it's like, I'm very proud of what Qatar's achieved, and I'm proud of being part of this whole story, because no matter how small you are, you're all part of the legacy. You all have something to give, but you're giving so much. It's untrue. It's a credit to you and your team. Unbelievable. In saying that, QDB. Okay, how important are they with you right now? Because I think that they're another one. They're doing fantastic things in supporting people like yourself.
So QDB has been supportive our engagement with QDB started back in 2020 when we applied for the Wave 2 accelerator program for the Fintech. And from there on, they have supported us not only for Fintech, but for other AI-based video analytics security projects as well. So they have been instrumental. And I think having a support within financial institute as a Qatar Development Bank is very important, and we value that relationship. And this also brings a credibility to us as well when we go and talk to different customers or to a potential investor, that we have got the development bank who has supported and invested in us for our initiatives.
They do some remarkable things, and the way that they are helping that startup ecosystem is phenomenal. What they do is unbelievable, and I see what they're doing with you. You're in the press everywhere at the moment, and in social media with all your things, and they do wonders. I'm going to go on to what was it like to be given a license with Qatar Central Bank? Was that a huge moment for you and your team?
It was indeed. Typically, the license process in any country that you go in is about an year and a half journey. For us, it was 3 years because we approached Qatar Central Bank before they come up with the regulation. So we started back in 2020. The regulation came in October 21. So we spent some time there. Then the regulation came in. We have gone through the regulation. We started submitting, and then there was a process. The first step was to get the sandboxing license, which we got 6 months after the regulation, and then it took us another 6 to 8 months to get the final license. So if you look at the whole journey, it's around 3 years. But during this time, we were able to build and mature our platform, and we complied with all the regulatory requirements of Qatar Central Bank when it comes to the anti-money laundering, when it comes to the information security, data on soil. These are the key areas that Qatar Central Bank was keen on that.
But the great thing about this, okay, it took 3 years, but what people don't realize, you were both assets to one another. You were helping them with the process. they were helping you with the process. You were learning off each other.
I think it was learning on both sides. As I've mentioned earlier as well in another platform, it was a learning on both sides. But we really appreciate Qatar Central Bank being open and listen to fintechs as well, and they're also able to adopt the appropriate changes that will help the ecosystem.
And that's the one good thing with Qatar this is a benefit. They if there's something not right, they'll fix it. They won't stay long in kind of they'll put a fix in place quite quickly,
which is good about that. And I think central bank has said that, and they've also implemented that as well, and they're quite open to go. And unless my earlier, before engaging with Qatar Central Bank, the image was different. But when we start engaging with their fintech team and they on all the relevant departments, we feel they are very cooperative.
That's where I see the pressure and the responsibility. You never even thought about it, but you've led the way for so many to follow now, and that's a huge step. That's going to be massive for the country.
All the stakeholders cooperate with each other. This is when the change will come through.
Yep.
I mean, alone, I cannot do it alone.
No, of course.
Alone, Twyla Technology, we cannot do it. Central bank alone cannot do it. So we all have to work together. And I think for us to be successful in fintech, Qatar Development Bank, Qatar Central Bank, Microsoft supporting us, and now we have recently signed with Visa, CyberSource project as well. Without all these four stakeholders, I think it would be difficult for us to be where we are now.
Fintech is such an exciting industry right now for Qatar, and there's so many people in there, and it's great to see the successes that you see. Skip Cash, Dipsy, all those type of companies. There's many more, but it's an exciting time for the fintech industry here.
Yes, so Qatar Central Bank has, I think, given almost 10 licenses this year, probably 2 more to go, which brings in a healthy competition. That means we need to be innovative to stay in the market. And also, we have to think beyond Qatar as well. Qatar is a good starting point. You can do business, but if you want to scale it, you need to be in a bigger economies. And this is where, again, QDB is also supporting us and going beyond Qatar and see how we can do business in other countries as well.
Were you ready just for this marketplace, or did you already, when you were developing, you had the thought of what are we going to do when we scale this?
We have to always think big. When you build, and this is what my advice is to all the new entrepreneurs and startup. Always build things which you can scale and go beyond your geographic restriction. Offer something which can be adopted globally. Only then you will be successful. You might have a local flavor for a specific region. That's fine. But always build something which is widely used and across your borders.
No, that's great advice. Okay, let's come on to this subject, which I like, and it's onto everybody's topic. And even when we went to a big startup event in Armenia, we had there was a where they said AI is huge. You've said that there's several startups that you use that is using AI. Is it an overused word, or is AI here, and is it going to make things a lot better, or is it scary?
So every technology have both sides, yeah. So we, as an entrepreneur, we should look at the positive sides of it and look at the positive use cases. AI definitely brings a lot of power and intelligence to our life, which helps us in making decisions, making things much easier, and the speed of different processes as well. So this is how I look at it. There's always a dark side of it. So I think this is for the regulators and the authorities to see how they can contain and control that. But I think we from the business side, there is a lot of potential which AI will bring to the landscape.
I do like it. But do you think that sometimes we're now using the AI word because that's what people want to hear?
It is definitely a buzzword, machine learning, AI, artificial intelligence. But you really need to put your concept and context behind that. I mean, when I'm talking to a customer that I'm offering you an AI-based video analytics, what it means. Does it really have a nice, strong algorithm which helps you detect things in a better way? Yes, definitely. If it helps, the customer would love it.
Yeah.
Similarly, in our e-commerce platform, we have AI algorithm to propose you the solution that or the things that you're buying or something similar. These are small algorithms that you add, and you can enhance it. For example,
Yeah, I definitely think that AI should be embraced. I think it is, and it's the education process that goes with that. We've all got to be educated. We just haven't got to go and be lost with AI. It must be great. We've got to stand back and we've got to look at it and we've got to educate ourselves so that we understand the process instead of letting other people explain to us about the process. Try to learn about it as much as possible.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
With the passage of time and understanding, I think people will have a different perspective about AI and ML. Those who thinks that is not good, as I said, but misuse of any technology is always there.
Yeah, and it's always been there.
Yeah. So
what is the future got to hold with you? You've got to market these ones. You've got to market all these businesses. You've got them running now, but that's only just the beginning. What is your next steps?
So, Steve, the main challenge for us, we have built something nice. We built something robust. We got a recognition and an acceptance on a different government level as well. Now it's time to market. So one of the things I'm here today is to talk about how we can how customer can help improve their business processes or improve their service to their customers by using these technologies. We need to market it, and marketing have different domains. So we are also looking to market all our solutions in Qatar. We are also going out of Qatar as part of the export program. But marketing is a very investment-hungry area. And it needs a dedication. It's if you work hard, you also make sure that you also put your message across in the market so people know about you and they should be able to get your service.
Literally, you were the dark horse in the race, right? And then all of a sudden, you're right up there, coming to the like a kind of finish line. Your journey's just beginning, but all of a sudden, you brought these 4 startups into fruition, and they're all working. Now you've got to kind of keep on leading the way.
Yeah. So, and as I've mentioned earlier, we need to work in partnerships. So we are open to work with different partners to enhance our portfolio. We are also open to we welcome the, investors as well who believes in us and our platform. And since we have a very diverse portfolio, we are open to investors who would like to come specifically, for example, for a healthcare. We can specifically talk about healthcare. We have a complete roadmap and a business strategy in place for each of the 4 platforms, and we are open for different partners who likes to be part of our journey and to grow with us. This is something that we have built in Qatar, and we want to help. We want help to grow them together.
Yeah, and do you have that vision as a unicorn? Is that something that you want to achieve?
To tell you frankly, probably not. I believe in building something useful, unique, which I should feel proud about it. Unicorn and getting into unicorn stage is probably an outcome of that. But building something that you feel proud is more important for me. Building something useful is more important for me.
Going back to 2019, okay, did you ever feel that you would get to this stage?
Yes, I had a conviction because what we were building we definitely had a demand. We work on the markets. Every time you need to build something, you first have to look at the market. is the market needs it. You should not build something and then figure out where you're going to sell. So you need to see where is a demand, if there is a demand is there, and in which way the country strategy is leaving or the policies are leaving, and then you have to align your solution along with that. And then it's just a matter of time. Once you are ready, you are the first one probably there. You may have a first mover advantage. So you need to look ahead and look at the market, look at the government policies, and then build something which is not only serving that country, but look around the country, across your borders as well. If this is something, a demand. So now all the 4 that we have built has a demand not only in Qatar, but also across the region.
You've got some of the biggest, I can see that you've got some of the biggest successes coming to you. I don't know how you've actually done it all to get to with the success you've got to this stage, with the healthcare, with the security, with the e-commerce, with fintech. I don't know how you've managed to juggle all of this. What is the best advice that you can give to any startups out there or startup owners that you can impare with them today?
So one of the reason we were able to do all this platform is we were doing our regular business as well. So which is the traditional command and control and the project business, which was part of the organization. And the reason why we went into these 4 venture is to have more stable business. Not only project business is very cyclic, and it's construction driven. Yeah. So what we did is one of the reasons we were able to do the bootstrapping is to the money that we were making in the project business, we are investing steadily and carefully into these 4 to build the business, so it can give you a stable revenue over a period of time. And this has been a strategy to build this. And of course, you need to find smaller teams, but a skillful team for each of the domains. For new entrepreneurs, if you're getting into any kind of specific business, make sure you have a tech guru with you to help you to build the tech. Because if you do not own the tech, then as a tech entrepreneur, then you're doing only a business on somebody else's platform. Yeah, so you must own your own tech. So we are proud that all the 4 techs that we have, we own our own tech. This is our own intellectual property. It gives you a lot of ease when you have to do any kind of customization, or if you have to help your customer to build something customized or bespoke for him, you are able to do it in a very quick turnaround time. So owning a tech is important. That means if you are a business guy, you must have a tech guy and give him a fair amount of share in your company, and he will help you build a good tech for you.
And that's important that you've just brought up there, which I want to emphasize is make sure that he's got a share, make sure he's got the skin in the game.
100%, because if you only hire an employee to do that, probably he will not share your vision and passion. He will only do what you tell him. And if you are a business entrepreneur, you're coming from the business side of it, you probably miss something fundamental, and that could be disaster when you build something which doesn't work or it has tech deficiency. So it's important that you have a partner with you or your co-founder who share your passion, your vision, so he can build the tech to cope up with it.
Listening to you, phenomenal what you've done. Do you listen to yourself now and go, yeah, do you pat yourself on the back a little bit at all, or it's only just beginning?
I think it's just a starting. I see our future is great. The team is great, and I think probably next time, Steve, we will be seeing in some time. We will have more great stories to show.
Yeah, I'm hoping so, because I'd love to be part of your journey, because I've got so much admiration for you, and I'm so glad that you came on the podcast today. You are, with what you've done within the ecosystem and the way that you've led the way in some, it must been difficult, frustrating times. I love the way that you bootstrapped. I love the way that you did projects. I love the way that you realized that you said, I'm always, if I just stick with those projects, I'm always going to be just working for those projects. I need to put something in place for our future too. And I think that it's fantastic information you gave to so many different people out there today, because I think you've just got to take everything that you've said and try to replicate it with your company, because everything that you've done and now you're reaping the rewards. It's only just beginning, and this is where the hard work begins. But if there's anybody that can do it, it's you, because what you've achieved so far is phenomenal. So thank you so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's been phenomenal to be here on your podcast. It's been long due, and thank you very much for your admiration and the nice words. Thank you a lot.
Congratulations and good luck in the future. I wish you and your team every success.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. I say this all the time, but I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. I've got an admiration, as you can see, for it's a special admiration. What he's achieved is unbelievable to have 4 startups. You can do this too. It's not the easiest of routes, but if you've got the capabilities, if you've got that team in place, if you've got the shareholders, if you've got the investors, if you've got the partners, then all of a sudden it becomes a lot more easier. And Nauman, you're the perfect example. You can do it too. You've just got to believe. Okay? You've just got to believe. Anyway, thanks for listening. Until next week. Bye for now.